What's up, guys? So here is, I'm just gonna make a follow-up video pretty much and kind of redo a little bit of the video that I did earlier. Hopefully this one's gonna be shorter. Um, so there's the whole thing between the mayor of Denver, Colorado and flock safety back on, let's see, what day was it? October 22nd. A whole lot of us went up to this town hall. We expected to be able to express our concerns about uh, just the contract that he was going to pass through without city council approval, because the original contract amount was like 660,000, which would require city council approval. And all the city council members were against it. So because he wanted it to get passed, he negotiated the contract down to under 500,000. It was 499,000 or 98,000. So just under that threshold. And he did that on purpose to circumvent having to get city council approval. Flock safety was like, hey, we'll give you, a free 6 months. And then Mayor Mike Johnston said, oh, we'll pay you for it. So he negotiated a contract amount, not really in the best interest of the taxpayers, honestly, because for the camera, they're going to do it for free. He negotiated basically $500,000 deal. Real quick, I did talk about this in the other video, but so he is the mayor, and then his wife is the chief deputy DA of Denver. So already they're very connected with the court system. There's incentive to discover more crime and have more tools to, prosecute people whenever. And it's kind of funny. She has her address on Instagram. So, like, look at this. She doesn't have her street address, but it's like right there, 8628. So I don't know. Public figures typically don't have that. Aren't that open, especially when there's this corruption scandal going on where Mike Johnson's violating privacy rights. He's going against what the people want, what the city council is going to vote for. And then it appears that he, since he's such a cheerleader for flock safety, he's very likely taking bribes. Either that or he is very passionate about mass surveillance. I'm not really sure who would be passionate about mass surveillance, because really shouldn't be. 1984 is readily available on the Internet Archive. Right there. So maybe he or his wife has further political aspirations. I mean, they all do. The further up you can get in politics, the more money you can take, and you just live off the corruption. And I think that's what he's doing, because he totally skipped out on this town hall, and he just didn't want to hear about it. He's like, yep, I know what you guys are going to say. I don't want to hear about it. I'll send my secretary Tim instead. That's I think Tim Hoffman, right? I think that was his name. Tim Hoffman. He's probably a good guy. Yeah, that's him right there, Tim Hoffman. Sorry, Tim, that probably screwed up your I don't know if anyone knows about that, they probably won't be very happy. Although I will say, in Tim's defense, even though he was very knowledgeable in it, he sounded like he was very into it. So very in the loop on it. when he was talking, but you could tell he was uncomfortable by a lot of the questions. Anyways, so Louis Rossmann live streamed this back on the 22nd. Let's just hear what he says for a little bit. I'll fill in afterwards too. I didn't really, since I was there in person, I didn't really look for it too much in the video.
PD officer is going to search for a license plate. There will be an enumerated list of crimes that they will have to select that will then enable them to search for that vehicle. So it is not as though they can type into an open box any reason for why they are doing it. It will be an enumerated list of either Colorado or Denver-based crimes that would then enable them to search for it. So I think, again, there is simply a disagreement over whether or not the passive collection of these license plate images that is then held on this system but is not accessed or looked at by anyone constitutes the mass surveillance that it's being portrayed as, or if it's only when you, or it's not even you, when your vehicle is suspected of being involved in a crime or has been stolen or otherwise, it would then be queried into the system, and if it exists from the last 30 days, then it would pop up into the Flock system.
So the question is actually about liability. What response, like, how do you feel about the city having liability for creating this data that could possibly be used against its citizens?
Can you say a little bit more about what you mean by used against the citizens?
Well, let's say that a citizen from the state of Texas was seeking abortion care and coming to Colorado, and their data had been released through Flock, and it was identified that they had come to Colorado to get an abortion. Maybe they get picked up by a bounty hunter, and they get brought back.
Okay, this part's gold.
For justice, or the Texas version thereof. Now that person has experienced damage because of
So for those of you who are unaware, this actually happened. Flock cameras, Texas woman, abortion. And so whether or not you guys believe in abortion, I don't believe in it, but I don't really think it's my decision to enforce it or have the government enforce it. I think it's wrong, but I also don't think the government should be controlling people's lives. But this can apply to like many different scenarios, like the ATF with gun rights, or like this has already happened. May 2025. So yeah, apparently someone from Texas went up to Colorado to have an abortion, and some of the officers from Texas, at least from what I understand, the officers from Texas were able to track her all the way up to Colorado and use that to prosecute her.
Data that was collected by the city of Denver, I believe that would cause a great liability for the city.
Yeah, so a couple things. Number one, we have shut off access to every jurisdiction outside of the state of Colorado. That's been the case for several months now. We now have shut off access to every jurisdiction outside of Denver. So a Texas jurisdiction simply does not have access to Denver's data. They cannot get it. Secondly, there are state laws and there are Denver ordinances around whether or not we can comply with either civil immigration enforcement or reproductive health care. When someone is coming, there's a shield law now statewide. And so Flock has set in parameters that there's absolutely, in the state of Colorado, no searching for any sort of terms that have any sort of implication around immigration enforcement, civil immigration enforcement, or reproductive health care. It's just not something that in the current system that we have built in this Denver model.
All right, let's listen to that again.
Flock has healthcare when someone, whether or not there are state laws not have access to every jurisdiction outside of the state of Colorado. That's been the case for several months now. We now.
I believe that would cause a great liability for the city.
Yeah, so a couple things. Number one, we have shut off access to every jurisdiction outside of the state of Colorado. That's been the case for several months now. We now have shut off access to every jurisdiction outside of Denver. So a Texas jurisdiction simply does not have access to Denver's data. They cannot get it. Secondly, simply does not have to every jurisdiction outside of Denver. So a Texas jurisdiction simply does not have access to Denver's data. They cannot get it. Second.
Well, you heard that, and in the video, he does talk more at some point about how it's supposed to be secure, or the system's secure, and Flock will get fined $100,000 per incident of breach of contract and all that. This just came out though.
A lot about Flock here on 9 News. They're known for their cameras used by law enforcement to track drivers and location and the people inside them. This week, links to streams of those cameras were plastered on the internet for anyone to
just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
If there was
found. That includes some right here in Colorado.
Like, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
If there was a camera pointed at your children on the playground, live streaming it on the internet with the capability to rewind and look at what it captured.
So this footage wasn't in Colorado, but they do show some footage from Colorado.
Would you be happy?
When I found that playground camera, it's like my stomach sank.
That playground is in California, and the video was obtained and published by YouTuber and researcher Ben Jordan. He just partnered with a reporter at 404 Media to break a story. Links to streams of 67 Flock cameras nationwide, 5 labeled as in Colorado, and their last...
Look, United States, Denver, United States, Denver, United States, Denver. I wonder if you can go to that. Let's try 51 sub 75. Sub dash 75 244. What was it? 75 244 191. To my vzw.com. It looks like they have shut it down.
Last month's worth of footage posted on a website on the internet that requires no login. And these aren't just license plate reading cameras.
They're Condor cams. They're kind of the newer cameras that Flock is making. Part of their design is to track people, to zoom in on them and follow them.
So earlier we were told that, about 2 months ago, we were told that these are only license plate readers. They can only read license plates. And now we're seeing that they follow people around.
One other camera on that list appears to be this one at a trailhead here in Douglas County, the Sandstone Ranch. Get that camera off of me. Here's video from this camera accessible on the internet without a login just this past week. Sandstone Ranch open space is managed by Douglas County.
It's
of devices. They then went on to say it was a warning, wrote that, quote, transparency
on air, that's problems.
The people heard back a couple of seconds on this.
Anyways,
You want.
you get the gist of it. These are supposed to be secure cameras, and they're not. And 404 Media. You may have seen the video, but you may have not. I'll show it to you because it's also really interesting. Flock. I mean, like this might. Here it is right here.
Permanently pointed at a playground.
This is it right here. I'm not going to go through it. But if you guys want, you can just type that in or look up 404 Media Flock and find this title. this flock camera leak is like Netflix for stalkers. But I do want to go over let me see if I can find the assurances. My remembers Johnston with a ST, not Johnson. Got some typos. I'm used to the Mac keyboard. I just got a PC. So I kind of suck at typing right now. Key assurances only restrict data access to only Denver Police Department, not Aurora, just Denver. Immediate loss and referral. Oh, cool. So they should all just lose access now, I guess. And then $100,000 per breach. Let's see if there's any good sources. Denver, maybe. Support local, right? Comes with safeguards. Nice. Agencies will need to negotiate a memorandum of understanding with Denver, which will state that any data sharing with the federal government requiring civil immigration enforcement result in immediate loss of access to data sharing and referral to Colorado Attorney General's office for prosecution. Cool. I bet his wife could help out with that. You know, I bet Courtney Johnston could possibly help out with prosecution of I mean, like, let's be real, like they still charge people with negligence. That is a thing. And with the breach of contract plus the negligence, it's like Flock is liable here because it was their fault for not doing that. But you know, Mayor Mike Johnston is, I feel like he still holds liability because he was so sure that he was the one that signed it, and he was the one that stated the justifications and safeguards for it as right here. So, you know, he puts Denver citizens at risk. If data is improperly released to external parties. I don't think that's enough damages. Yeah, there it is directly, like you just saw in the article, the news article, at least 5 cameras were improperly released to external parties being anyone who had access. Al Qaeda, ISIS, you know, Russia, anyone that the United States doesn't really get along with, you know, they all had access to this. And with IT and web scraping and AI stuff like that, you know, you can guarantee that someone did have access to this. There's a absolutely non-zero chance that people that shouldn't have had access to this did have access to it. My video several days ago was talking about like hypotheticals, like this didn't happen in Colorado, but what if it did? Like those are still. We found out that cameras in Denver specifically were compromised. So I don't know. I'll just give you guys that information, and then here's kind of like my take on it. It's like this stuff's been compromised. We were lied to about the capabilities of it. We were lied to about the securities. We're told that no one else outside of Denver Police Department would have access to the cameras. That was a lie because a bunch of them were unsecure. We're told that it would only be used for tracking license plates and crimes. They have facial recognition now. So they were literally following people's faces around. They're in places where cars don't even go. So we're lied to on those fronts. And then now I have to come into question, why was Mayor Mike Johnston such a cheerleader about getting Flock about renewing the contract? Flock. He can flock off. What's up with the internet today? Anyways, yeah, this opens a lot more questions. Like I'm more concerned about the corruption standpoint. It's like he lied to us about those things, and he installed this program and renewed this program that's obviously going to help his wife's office out, and the other DAs, and the DAs, like literally the people that are in charge of coming after you, which the whole reason the Fourth Amendment is in place is so that the DA can't just break into your house and get your security footage or anything so the government cannot invade your privacy to charge you with crimes that they don't know about. That's kind of the whole point of the Fourth Amendment. There's kind of an unsaid intent behind it that if the crime is a crime, but it wasn't bad enough to where no one knows about it, then the government should just ignore it. They can't pursue it. That's kind of like the unspoken intent behind it. But it also is there to prevent the government from just coming in, invading your privacy, getting into your lives completely, and this whole thing just it completely circumvents that, because now there's cameras everywhere watching you. We now know that, I mean, we have known, but we have official confirmation that these cameras are not just reading license plates. And you know what? Who would need an AI camera anyways if it was just license plate reading? It's pretty easy to create an algorithm that would just recognize OCR. That would use OCR to recognize license plates. You don't even need AI on a camera to do that. And so the fact that they call them AI cameras, it's like that already tells you that they're doing a lot more. So there's this whole like sketch factor, the creepy factor, and then there's the we were lied to factor. We were told that they would be secure and that they would only be used for license plates. Now they're up at parks watching people's faces, and they're publicly accessible on the internet. Once a company breaks your trust, which they already did, they already were caught in lies earlier this year and last year. Once they break your trust, do you really want to go back to them? And like less than about 2 months later, they break the trust again. And Garrett Langley, like, I don't know what's up with him. He's the CEO of Flock, by the way. I don't really know what his real intention is, but he says it's to eliminate crime everywhere, stop crime everywhere. If I don't know, my feeling on that is like cameras they're a reactive resource. They don't prevent things. Cameras cannot be used to prevent crime unless you've got a fortified building with cameras at the front, so you know when someone's trying to breach, but that's not this type of camera. But yeah, that's him. I think he's like 28 or something. So clearly very young, and up to no good. You know that this is a piece of shit company when BlackRock is dumping money into it. And other sketchy VCs. So yeah, that's him. And you know, I'm sure maybe at the beginning he meant well, but this has just become a cash cow for him. So he's just selling your privacy and your rights to become a billionaire. But I don't think he's technically a billionaire. I'm not even going to Google it. That's not relevant. Come on. Mike Johnston. So that's Charlie Kirk. There's Mike Johnson. Yeah. I don't know. Whenever you have like some like cool young bro coming in as a politician in Colorado, it always turns out to be really bad. That's what I've noticed. Mayor Mike Johnson being one of them, but you know, yeah. Yeah, right there. It did not require city council approval because it was less than 500,000. And yeah, you know, ICE is one of them, but it's like it can go so much further than just ICE. It can be used to prosecute citizens and go after people, and you know, it brings into another point where it's like just because it's a law, like how many times do you disagree with a law? How many times do you think that, you know, that law itself is illegal or should not exist? And so there is some aspect of civil disobedience, and giving government unlimited power like this, it completely goes against that aspect of civil disobedience. So I think people on both sides of this are pretty pissed off about it. The DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, were pretty pissed off about it. I don't really agree with their standpoint on it, but you know, we both have a common enemy. We don't want these flock overlords, and let alone friggin' Palantir is based out of Denver. Trying to get better at touch typing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, so Mike Johnson, like, when you see, when you have articles like this, it's like, is it really something to pursue? Like, I mean, like, we should talk about that too. It's like, you know, Palantir is based out of Denver, the city which Mike Johnson is mayor of, who he signed this deal with Flock. Do you think maybe Palantir is, you know, there's probably a non-zero chance that they're, you know, leasing data from Flock, stuff like that. And, you know, everything that they tell us, it's like their philosophy is that they'd rather make all this money from leasing the data out and then pay a couple fines for breaking contract, because the fines are going to be cheaper than the potential profit loss of not doing it. Come on now. The fines need to be so much more steep, like $1 billion. And you know, all of this is like just one of the many reasons why Colorado is just, you know, falling apart shit, because they also have, it's not just the flock cameras that we have in Colorado. We have cell phone cameras that can detect if you're holding a phone. There's lane cameras that detect if you improperly switch lanes on the highway. HOV violation cameras, speed cameras now. They are introducing those in 2026. And the red light cameras too. So there's all that plus the flock and the Palantir. Like there's going to be a camera for any sort of crime that you can possibly commit, no matter how small. That is what is happening in Colorado. And you know, I'm not sure if it goes against doxing or not, but let's see, you can, I spelled that wrong. You can call Governor Jared Polis. If you click here, his contact information is, where is it? Yeah, so you go here, you go to contact us, and then the office phone number is right here, constituents helpline, governor's office front desk right there. Normally it goes to voicemail, but if you reach out to someone, have something prepared to say either way. Governor Polis probably will not answer. It'll be like the secretary or something, but sometimes he will. You know, just express your concerns to him, express them to I bet you can get to it from this. Nah, I can't. You know, he's not going to listen anyways, but you can call him up too. Email. There you go. In YouTube, I want to clarify this, the public facing number, office number. Because I've gotten banned before for posting public office numbers that you can get literally from Googling. From a quick Google. And then who else was the... This would be your last call too. I forget his name. I didn't vote for him. Representative. That's not it. Senate? I don't know. Do your Googling. State Senator. Senador. There he is. Dude, that guy looks like Garrett Langley right there. This guy looks like the love child between Garrett Langley and Mike Johnston. And holy shit, this guy looks like Patrick. That's funny. I'll save it. I swear there's another politician. These guys, I don't know their names. I forget their names. I'd know it if I wasn't trying to look for it, but yeah, these guys. Call them up. Anyways, so that's gonna wrap up my video. Again, you can go to this video here on 404 Media. You can look up our boy Louis Rossmann. Watch the full thing. If you have a Google Plus, you can do this too. You know, you can. It's nice that they have AI on here.
With that, we're going to talk a little bit about data security. And
this is the good part about having AI is like you can do searches like this, not AI cameras.
And in the press releases that you're going to read about the contract the mayor signed this morning, it's going to be presented that he's taking care of this data security. And what he's done is he's requiring a memorandum of understanding with other agencies. I don't know that a memorandum of understanding can override somebody's religious conviction if they're trying to get information out of our database. But the second thing is that if a warrant is issued to silent tap the data, that's going to override any memorandum of understanding. And I don't know that we can trust our current administration at the national side to not issue those warrants and not force Flock to monitor that data. And this is important because this data is not being stored on the hard drive of a computer under Commander Herrera's desk. This is data that's being held off-site by a private company, right? It'd be nice if it was under your desk. We could kick the machine and unplug it, right, if we felt like somebody's going to get to it. But we can't do that. And then, so really the only way...
He's right. Flock Safety actually stores their data with Amazon Web Services.
To prevent the sharing of this data in any manner with folks that that can cause harm to the members of our community is to not create the data in the first place. And that's
a valid point right there. And that's one that we all need to know is you can put all these roadblocks into place legally, but if it still exists, there's still a way to get to it.
And the other thing about it is we've all worked with that bonehead coworker whose password is password using the A as an @ sign, right? That somehow got his bank account taken twice, clicks on every link.
He's making a great point here. And he didn't even need to make it because you didn't even need a password to access those cameras. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
Sent to him. And while that's probably a little bit lower percentage of officers that take an oath, I can I can guarantee there's definitely boneheads in that organization too. And with that, we're not talking about 1 or 2 users that have access to the data. We're talking about, in the police department, hundreds of users? How many users, Commander Herrera? So 700-800 users in 6,000 agencies?
That's hard.
Well, no, but yeah, your police, yeah, the Denver police, 700-800 users. But if we take that average among larger departments and smaller departments, that means that we may have 30,000 passwords out there for this system. We're going to hit a bonehead. We're going to hit a bonehead.
Yeah, the operational security, the OPSEC, is very vulnerable on this. If you're having that many users with the same access, not much compartmentalization. If you've looked into anything that Edward Snowden talks about, it's about how the NSA would compartmentalize them so that they can't cross-reference or figure out the big picture of anything. But compartmentalization also prevents large security breaches, which is not going on right now.
And they're gonna lose the password, or they're gonna make a bad decision and share data, even though maybe the mayors between the 2 cities have signed a memorandum of understanding with each other. So,
yeah, no, I'll just let you guys look this video up again if you want to watch it. It's the 3-hour-long video, and currently we're at 46 minutes. Because, all those points were good, but they're pretty much null and void right now because of the fact that all those cameras were just publicly accessible. It wasn't that agencies were misusing them. It was that anyone from agencies in different states to private citizens to private investigators to stalkers to terrorist organizations like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, all that, had access to it. All they had to do was plug in an IP address and a port number, which was on a list on the internet. So, but yeah, so I'm just gonna end it right there. I don't really, we've gotten to 40 minutes already. A little bit shorter than the first one, but